Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Good evening, I'm Desmond Saunders. Topping the news tonight, movers and shakers in the business community meeting today for the annual Business Outlook, an opportunity to get insight and by the same token, take advantage of the opportunities for the new year. It was also a chance for the Prime Minister to clear up some confusion as to what a pledging conference is and what the commitments mean. Mukesh Lopinder has a story tonight.
What was initially praised as quite a feat for the government has since been criticized, and Prime Minister the Most Honourable Dr. Hubert Minnis's address to the Bahamas Business Outlook's opening ceremony Thursday morning sought to address those head-on. You see, Monday's Hurricane Dorian pledging conference ended with the Bahamas pulling in some $1.5 billion in pledges. A huge chunk of that money came from U.S.-based commercial real estate company, the P3 Group. It was soon discovered, though, that P3's $975 million pledge was actually a lease purchase agreement. The company would reportedly cough up the funding for various projects with the expectation of reaping the rewards of its investment. Some have since slammed the government as disingenuous. In his government's defense, the Prime Minister acknowledged that the pledges funding were in the form of concessionary loans, equity, grants, and guarantee financing, and that potential loans are only one type of possible funding. Furthermore, like most donor conferences, he said, most of the aid pledged was not in the form of cash donations.
Unfortunately, some who were not present at the event seem very confused and very poorly informed. Had they informed themselves, they would not have made silly, confused, and uninformed statements in the press. Some who have an obligation to be more responsible are irresponsibly making up false narratives of what happened. Again, some seem not to understand what transpired or the nature of a donor conference.
Having reviewed, he said, the government would then decide what's best for the Bahamas and those in the affected areas. Now, these pledges also include intellectual and technical assistance.
We are in the early stages of discussions with a leading university in the United States to help us with in-depth assistance, advice, and expertise on how the Bahamas may better prepare with resilience for the effects of climate change. And indeed, we will partner with a number of leading international institutions on strategic planning for rebuilding Abaco and for making our other islands, including New Providence, more resilient.
Now, to help channel some of the pledges, the Bahamas Recovery and Reconstruction Funds to be created. The fund would ensure transparency as to how best minimize the potential for fraud and corruption.
The maintenance of the good name and the reputation of the Bahamas is essential as we seek the support of domestic and international partners in the rebuilding and the renewal of Abaco, the Abaco Keys, and Grand Bahama.
Meantime, the Prime Minister has promised to address other comprehensive measures the Bahamas must take to address resilience in the face of a grave threat to the country's existence and sustainability. For the ZNS News Network, I'm Mukesh Lopinder.